This is Coach Potato, Week 2, November 23rd. Dallas and Jeff back for our second week.
Back again, indeed.
We want to start off with our Fast 5 Week 11 outcome. We had the Titans and Ravens game, which came down pretty close, 30-24 overtime.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure you were liking that one.
Yes and no, on and off. Always love seeing Derrick Henry bust one off to just be a game ender.
You got the cat like brushing up against that.
Look.
Oh my gosh.
Other than that, Tannehill 22 for 31, 259 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, that's pretty good. It's about all you could ask for.
Yeah, I mean, like so a lot of people are like 0 interceptions or a bust, and I think if a quarterback throws 1 interception, that just means they're willing to take a chance at least. You know, I can take like up to 15 interceptions a season. Beyond that, I'm like, don't do that.
He's still under 15, and it looks a lot better when the other quarterback like Lamar throws 1 themselves. He went 1 for 1.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm torn on Lamar now. I think he's the incredible athletic ability, but I just don't know if he has. I think the biggest problem with the Ravens is their play calling, honestly.
You think?
I think that it just seems like it's very vanilla compared to like. I think it might have always been vanilla with kind of like or maybe it wasn't vanilla before. I don't know. I'm trying to collect my thoughts on the run. I don't think it was vanilla before, but it seems like they've kind of had like a little bit more of a laxed approach recently.
Yeah.
Where it seems like they're trying to.
It's almost like schoolyard ball.
Yeah, they're just kind of trying to out-muscle you. And I feel like they're not really a muscle team unless you're... Like, Mark Ingram, he's a bulldozer. But I feel like the whole purpose of their team is to be a little bit more finesse. And I think that they're not really going into that finesse aspect enough.
No, and to build on the play calling, I mean, Lamar's had less opportunity. He threw less than Tannehill. He had 1 less touchdown. But Lamar combined, who was their leading rusher, with all of their running backs, still rushed for less than just King Henry.
Oh, wow. How much? Do you know how much Lamar had?
Gosh, it was somewhere around 70, I think.
Okay, so under 100.
Yeah, it was under 100. It was somewhere between 40 and 70. It was respectable. I think he was lead rusher for their team.
Yeah, they're doing a little bit of a running back by committee right now, which I'm a fan of running back by committee, but I think you need to also have a deep playbook for runs, and I just don't see like that anymore.
Yeah, that pretty much wraps that game up good. Neither of us hit the mark on our guesses.
Yeah.
Titans 7-3 now, Ravens 6-4. The next game, which was crazy, Arizona versus Seattle. And that one was nuts. That one was pretty nutty.
I can't. Did you get who we picked on there?
That one we had the Seahawks just crushing them. I was very adamant Seattle would come in and dominate that game.
Okay, I think I had more of like a close game.
You were reserved. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that I definitely know that, especially at Kyler after that crazy that Hail Murray, if you would, with Hopkins. Yeah, that was incredible. I think he's going to continue to have incredible plays like that throughout his career. It just feels like he's just such a playmaker and such a someone who's going to be able to put a team on their back, similar to Russell Wilson.
That's the thing is he's a smaller, more compact Russell.
Absolutely.
Similar stat lines. Kyler had to throw it up a bit more. Russell 23 for 28, 197, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Kyler was 29, 42, 269, 2 touchdowns.
Gotcha.
Neither threw a pick.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised because Russell Wilson had been throwing picks the last couple weeks.
They're both like risk takers.
Yeah, I like that though. I like my quarterback to be a risk taker every now and then, especially in the towards the end of the game. What we got next? What next did we talk about?
One last thing I did want to say. The thing about that game that I took away was both quarterbacks had 8 receivers that got the ball. They were still taking risks, like throwing it to anyone.
So both of them had 8 different receivers?
Yeah, 16 different receivers.
Good distributors then. Good distributors.
So the next one is a bit of a downer that Bengals and Washington game.
Yeah. It sucks to see Joey B go down like that.
Yeah, confirmed torn ACL, MCL. He's out for the year easily. Should be back next year.
Yeah, as a Cowboys fan, I have much experience with quarterbacks injuring legs. So I really feel for him.
Yeah. Looked like a warrior though. I mean, not to diminish that.
No, of course not.
Because that's a gruesome injury for anyone.
Yeah, you're exceeding like expectations if you're like just not even like balling. I totally understand, but like it's just so apparent that the Bengals season is over like 100% now. I feel like they could have, if in a miraculous way, snuck into some sort of wild card, or maybe even And honestly, I'm concerned for the future of the Bengals because Joey B, I think he tore ACL, MCL, and other ligaments as well.
They said there's more damage.
There's more structural damage. So I'm concerned that this might be, if he might not have the same run in the future.
It could haunt him. As long as he can continue making smart throws, I mean, leader in pass attempts coming in late to the season.
Yeah.
And he still isn't the leader in picks as a rookie.
Yeah.
I think that's an optimistic sign that he's smarter than most at his age.
Absolutely.
At a quarterback standard. That one, Washington came away 20-9.
Yeah, dang. Did we have scores on that one?
I think we were sort of up in the air on that one.
Yeah, I think I remember that too.
And honestly, we never expected to see Burrow go down, so it's hard to say.
Honestly, I'm not gonna act like I'm gonna call it beforehand, but like that Washington defensive line is just mad. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Ryan Kerrigan. There's just so much beast on that line.
Washington can beat you up, and Burrow has been beat up all year. Alex Smith looked bad, 17-25, less than 170 yards.
Oh wow! Did he get the? Did you know if he get the start over Kyle Allen or not? Or
I don't know.
Kyle Allen might be hurt again. I don't know.
Yeah, or might see the field. The last one that's finished that we had last week is Packers and Colts, which was a hell of a game. I would have loved to have seen the Colts lose, but they somehow pulled it out. Phillip Rivers played better than Aaron Rodgers.
Which is incredible, because I think we both had the Packers going into that.
Hard.
Yeah. I just know that defense is undeniable. That Colts defense is something to be reckoned with for sure.
They held Aaron Jones to 41 yards rushing. I don't know what he did in the pass game, but as a rusher, they just didn't allow it.
Wow. Yeah, that run game with Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones is just pretty. It's almost as deadly sometimes as Aaron Rodgers is throwing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty remarkable that they were just able to kind of shut them down.
And the running back committee in Indy performed really well. Naheem Hines didn't play, or Naheem Hines, he didn't play much, but he still got a 2-point conversion. I forget what running back they had playing, but he neared 100 yards. Aaron Rodgers still played good, just didn't bring home the win.
Yeah. Unfortunate for the Packers.
But the last game is one that kicks off in a couple hours, or maybe even within an hour. That one's Rams and Bucks should be great. One's a 6-3 team, 7-3. I mean.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna address them in our Fast Five for this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Rams and Bucks same thoughts as last week. I just think that the Rams have a hell of a defense that is being underrated.
Yep.
And I think that they probably could pull this one out as long as that running back by committee is staying at full function. Just gotta see what the Bucks got. See if they're gonna be a little bit more positive this week instead of getting blown out by the Saints and everything else that they've done.
Yeah, Bruce Arians is a smart guy. Tom Brady's a smart guy.
Absolutely.
They'll craft something tonight that'll be interesting and unique.
I agree. All right. Well, let's move into our Fast Five predictions for this week. First off, we got Titans and Colts, the rematch. What do you got, Dallas?
For that one, I really hate to say it. I would love to see the Titans prove it wrong.
Wow.
But consistency has shown.
He's going to do it.
The Colts are red hot. I see them coming in and being the team I saw this last week against the Packers more than the Titans coming in and being the team that played against the Ravens.
Absolutely.
We should know soon, like probably first quarter, who's taking that one home. But for now, I would say the Colts come in, fresh running back, fresh.
That's impressive. That took a lot, didn't it?
It hurts, yeah. It'll be close. I think if they shut down the run game, then maybe it gets out of hand, but I don't see them stopping King Henry.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm kind of on the same boat. Honestly, I feel like they might even stop King Henry. King Henry is a force to be reckoned with, so it's hard to stop him. But when people have, it's been top 5 defenses.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they'll stop him. It's hard to stop a freight train that's off the tracks.
Yeah.
But even just to kind of go back to the Ravens-Titans real quick, the elusiveness on that last play where he just
he'll get you.
He ducked in and then ducked back out and just went to the middle of the field. Yeah, it was incredible. I'm like, this man has been running over people, pushing Josh Norman down like he's a middle school varsity player. It's incredible to watch him play. But I know if he's under 100 rushing yards, the Titans will not win that game.
It's shown over 100. I think we've lost 1 or no games if he's gotten over 100.
Right.
So it's definitely a key because our offense runs through him.
Yeah, that play action bootleg is very important to y'all's offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And that showed in the Ravens game. It showed since Tannehill's gotten into town.
Absolutely.
But kind of going back to that Ravens game,
mm-hmm.
Tannehill had a few sloppy passes, had a pick that was because of the left tackle. We'll get into what happened. Mm-hmm. But to keep it brief, if they shut Tannehill down and they know all they have to do is stop Henry, it's a much easier job.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of worry on that very good Indy defense shutting either of them down, but specifically Tannehill.
Yeah, we'll see where they take it for sure. I think I got. I just think I got the Titans this week. I'm gonna go 24-21 Titans.
You're tightening up?
I'm thinking I'm gonna tighten up. What you got?
Mine was 24-21 Colts. So
I don't think this will be a blowout either way.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little bit of a defensive struggle. I feel like Vrabel kind of has the ability to activate a team that's been a little bit underperforming on the defensive side, especially in the pass rush. So I think they might have a little fire under them and might want to try a little harder this week.
Well, I'll definitely take some time to talk about what I think about Vrabel, but I think it comes down to the last 2 or 3 minutes, maybe who has the ball last in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
Both teams will be competitive. It'll be fun. It'll be a good game.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to Chiefs versus Bucks. Obviously, we don't know the we're recording this on Monday night around 5 or 6, so we don't know the winner of the Bucks game tonight. But Chiefs and Bucks, who you got, Dallas?
Those are such great quarterbacks for different reasons. Generational. I mean, kind of a passing of the torch. I don't know how long Tom Brady has in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes has a long time, at least 10 years for, was it $500 million? Or was it more?
I think it's $500 million over like 10
years. Yeah. Unless there's a Joe Burrow situation, we will see him for a long time.
Yeah.
Just continuing to put up MVP years.
He is an incredible threat. I think Brady is he's going to be that continuing, I think he's kind of got the LeBron effect where LeBron not necessarily has the same athletic ability he had in the past, but he's definitely going to continue to be just a leadership role. Yeah. And also he just has tuned the fine mechanics very well. Yeah. He knows how to hit the perfect pass and slant on the screen. He knows how to do the things that are simple, and he does them really well.
They are tuned athletes that you just
absolutely
don't see. If you ask, I'm sure even LeBron's teammates, Tom's teammates, no one comes in and prepares like them. No one comes in and performs like them. No one loves the game like them. And Mahomes seems to be that. And as he gets experience, I think he'll have a similar long career of success.
Yep, I'm with you.
Shit, bro. As far as who wins that game.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to the defenses.
Yeah, that really is it.
The problem that the Bucs defense is facing this week is they have the kind of the three-headed monster in the offensive game. They have the running game, which they showed against the Bills.
Yeah.
And they also have the just the tight end game with Travis Kelce himself, which they showed against the Raiders. And they also have to worry about the outside receivers, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Mecole Hardman. It's just, what are you going to do?
Patrick Mahomes delivering all of it.
Yeah, the Chiefs, you have to play almost perfect, and you also have to get a little bit lucky.
But it is sort of looking into the mirror and seeing present and past, because there's so many good older veterans on the Bucs. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Antonio Brown. Mike Evans is getting up there. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of older talent. I guess to say who I think has this, I don't think they can keep up with the Chiefs. It comes down to defense. Both get 30 points at least.
Yeah.
35-42 Bucs for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I might go at least like 38-28 Chiefs. I think the Bucs defense has been good. We just haven't been shown to really be like consistently great. I don't know if they'll do that this week, especially facing superior talent than they have in the past.
But we agree, if you love offensive ball, it's probably the game to circle this week for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next game you have on the dish for us, Jeff?
Let's go to Ravens at Steelers. I think this one is fascinating because Lamar Jackson didn't play well last time against the Steelers, and the Steelers just have a stud defense. Micah Fitzpatrick, I was watching one of his interceptions the other day, running back for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Just incredibly quick.
He's an athlete.
Incredibly quick. I was like, that's Tyreek Hill speed. That's that's one of the fastest men in the game. I just think that the Ravens have been pounded and pounded and pounded over and over again. It just doesn't seem like they're going to be able to pull it through. I think they're going to have to make some coaching, not positional changes, not like firing coaches or anything. That would be silly in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
But at least making some coaching changes regarding play calling, because it just doesn't seem like it's working right now. Whatever offensively, it just doesn't seem like it works. It seems like the defense is kind of keeping up with it, but they seem to be getting tired because the offense is not taking the same way it was last year.
I mean, their offense exactly is that. It's not last year. The last 3 weeks, I think, consistently have been 24 or less points.
Yeah.
Maybe they relied on that last year a little too much. But I agree with you there. The Ravens look lost. I don't know if it's play calling. I don't know if it's confidence in Lamar. But they do just sort of offensively look lost, even if the defense keeps them in. There were many, many times against the Titans Lamar could have closed it. He could have just ended it, kept the ball going, kept drives going, but he just didn't.
Yeah, and it just doesn't seem like they're really playing to his skills anymore. Like, sometimes they're playing him as a pocket passer, and it just doesn't seem like that's his game. And maybe it's also defense is starting to learn, but from someone who's watched a few Ravens games, I haven't seen most of them, but I would just assume that it's not that they figured out Lamar Jackson, because there's no solution to athleticism at that ability.
No, yeah, Mike Vick showed that.
Yeah, like
4 years.
Yeah, he continuously, whatever bird was on the side of his helmet, eagle or falcon, he was going to perform exceedingly well.
Even as he got older, a little less fast. I'm not saying Lamar's as fast or agile as Michael Vick in his prime, but he was still a threat 5 years after his prime.
Yeah. Well, let's go right on to Washington at Dallas. A little bit of a NFC least tank bowl. What you got, Dallas? What you got on these guys?
The Cowboys impressed me last week. I forget, who are you playing? The Vikings.
Yeah.
Shut them down. I mean, offensively, you stayed in the game. Defensively, I mean, Dalvin Cook is always going to be a threat, but he wasn't the bullhorn of the offense he usually is against your hurt, beat up defense.
Our defense is very injured. Javon Diggs, we lost Tristan Hill, a few other beasts out there. It just doesn't feel like the coaching was really resonating with the new guys, especially the guys who we picked up in free agency. Obviously, we have a new coaching staff in Dallas, and it just didn't feel like in the beginning of the season that was really resonating with them. I feel like they kind of were like, oh, we're just some dogs. We're going to win either way.
Yeah. The NFC least this year is at least interesting to watch because it is a toss-up, I think, up until week 17, that the team that just adapts to whatever injuries happen, whatever inner sabotage seems to be happening for Eagles fans out there, it's just not going well for a single team in the division.
Yeah, I was really hopeful that they would really be close to the end of the game and then lose because I still want a top 5 draft pick, but.
You want them to tank? Do you have a victor in mind? Do you think who's going to pull away?
I think either the Giants or the football team this year.
Wow.
The Eagles have been shown to the coaching staff seems like nothing like the Super Bowl coaching staff it was. With the loss of Frank Reich at the Indianapolis Colts, that could be the issue. I don't know. It feels like the football team has just really bought into Ron Rivera's stock. And same thing with the Giants. They've really bought into Joe Judge.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to take a little bit more time since Mike McCarthy's a little bit of a milquetoast kind of guy, not really the hype, get in your face kind of person. So I think it'll take him a little bit more time to get the Cowboys on the right side of the win column. But I'm going to go with Washington this week. Mostly because I hope they win.
Yeah, you just want that tank to continue full tank mode.
Oh, yeah. Not because I am like, oh, the Cowboys deserve it. No, the Cowboys need to lose if they want to have a good draft pick. And I want to trade down that draft pick and get more draft picks.
Wow.
So.
Well, I'm going to bum you out because I think the Cowboys are going to keep that win column just
Gross.
stacking. I think Andy Dalton, CD sort of got some chemistry.
Gross.
Zeke won't too much, but I think he'll have 80 yards, maybe a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, he might show up to the game.
Yeah, he'll be there.
He'll drive to the stadium.
No, he'll run a bit.
What'd you get score with?
Gosh, I mean, it's going to be a gross game, I do think. I hate it for your division. This game will sort of show who has the most talent that'll still be there next year.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe 21 to 16. I mean, it's going to be gross, a lot of field goals.
Yeah. You know what the score was last time? 20-3.
20 to gross.
The football team won.
Wow. I think you guys will show up a bit more than that.
I'm going to go 21-20. I think
so close.
I think Greg the Leg misses an extra point, but he nails like a 60-yard field goal at some point. Actually, that wouldn't make sense because it's 20. Let's make that 24-23 so that prediction rings.
I love it. I love it. Adapt, overcome.
I'm going to adapt to my predictions to make my predictions better.
Nice. It'll be a fun one.
Last one for our Fast Five this week. We got the Cards at the Pats. Who do you got?
This one, I think Cardinals will come in and just sweep house. It's a very weird year for a lot of reasons, and one of those reasons is the Patriots are a bad football team. I said it last week. I will double down on it this week.
Yeah, they're just not good.
Yeah, until someone in that organization shows me a reason to think differently this year. They had a dynasty that was incredible, but I think it's finally gone. Other teams can play well in the NFL and maybe get a Super Bowl or two.
Yeah, I think that their leg up on people was that they were the fine-tuned kind of everything that we do that's real simple. We do it exceedingly well, which is super important in the NFL. But I also feel like they're not really doing that as well anymore. It seems like they have a lot of free agents or people who are recently come into the organization or people who have left the organization who filled those roles, and those roles are kind of empty right now. And I just question their talent evaluation now. Like it doesn't seem like they've hit on a pick in a long time.
Yeah, N'Keal Harris is that his first name?
N'Keal Harry.
They could have had A.J. Brown. who has performed better, and I think even from a draft standpoint should have been a more desired choice.
Absolutely, and I love the comeback story of Cam, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to pull it through. It seems like this is a must-win game for the Cards. They're second in their division right now, they need to win this if they want to have any chance of taking the division or get to a wild card spot. Because the Rams are red hot, the Seahawks are red hot. We'll just have to wait and kind of see where the Cardinals are going to go. But I think that they will win this because this is a must-win game for them.
Do you have a score?
I'm gonna go 31-24 Cards.
That's very close. Mine's 35-31 Cards.
Okay. Yeah. I would have gone higher into the 30s, but I just don't know. I don't think it's going to be that much of a blowout, and I also don't think that the Patriots can score over 30 reliably.
I think the Cardinals might get ahead early, then the Patriots defense shows up late, and Cam gets some garbage points. He's shown he's good at that this year.
In garbage time.
Yeah, I hope the comeback story can come back. Cam Superman was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I wanted him really to be comeback player of the year, but I'm not really certain about that.
No,
we'll see though. Let's go into our MVP little update section real quick. It's a little quickie update. You go ahead and start us off, Dallas.
So, everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I still think there's a chance the number one candidate could be Russell Wilson. It's just...
You got me. I was like...
No. Running back isn't going to win. He's there. He's up there. Okay. Is that what you're thinking about?
I was thinking about Derrick Henry.
No, yeah. He's up there. Okay. I don't think the league will give in to a running back MVP.
I don't think so.
If anything, just the core drive early in the season of Russell Wilson saying, I've never had an MVP vote. And him playing well this year. Very smart decisions, consistently rushing well, passing well, and making the right choice at the right time.
For sure.
I think he'll come away with it. I think there's a few quarterbacks that will be right on his coattails. But at the end of the day, I'm going to start with my number one MVP candidate, and that's Russell Wilson.
That's fair. Yeah, and I'm still high on Russell Wilson. I think he's raised his stock a little bit. Like I said earlier, I don't mind the newly found interceptions. That's an important part of taking risks, and there are games where Pat Mahomes has thrown a couple. I think he threw at least one in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and with Patrick Mahomes, just quickly, one thing that's interesting is he's had the most dropped interceptions of any quarterback.
Interesting.
So, just want to throw that out there. Please continue.
Wow. Yeah. So, and he's definitely a risk taker. He kind of chucks it up like a punt sometimes. And sometimes it's like deadly accurate too. So he's kind of like that two-headed snake. But back to Russ, I just think that he's kind of going to take more risks. He's going to throw more interceptions that shouldn't raise or lower his stock. He's playing with no one but DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. The rest are bums. So I think he definitely deserves MVP at this point in the season. Who you got second in your race now?
Second is going to be another quarterback. I love the idea of three different positions getting the nod, but Aaron Donald wasn't explosive in a way to talk about this week. No defensive player really was. So my quarterback that is the up-and-comer is the explosive Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Other quarterbacks are performing better stat-wise, and he might have the most weapons to play with offensively, but at the end of the day, he's Patrick Mahomes. He's the iconic league boy, and he's having another great year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have him at number 2. I have raised my stock a little bit on Kyler Murray, actually.
Incredible.
Kyler Murray is going to stay up there. I think he's had an iconic play this season. That's the Hail Murray, if you will. That pass to DeAndre Hopkins where D-Hop just went up there with them Jordan gloves and just grabbed that ball.
Those big hands.
In between Poyer, Hyde, and Tre'Davious White, which is just incredible. 3 of the toughest defensive backs to catch a ball on in this game right now.
Yeah.
And then, I just feel like, he has some good weapons around him, but it's not the level of talent that Pat Mahomes has around him. I think Pat Mahomes did deserve the nod a couple years ago, whenever he did, or last year maybe, whenever he won it. But I feel like we've seen that already, and I feel like they're going to give it to a new guy, up and comer, who's like really starting to hit the mark right now.
Yeah, perhaps the new Mahomes when he starts to get that experience under his wings.
Yeah, I think he could definitely be that with a little bit more athleticism if he continues.
And that's a dangerous thought. I mean, Kyler, there's a lot that goes into a Hail Mary, but you have to at least get the ball to a position where your guy can come down with it with no interruption.
Yeah.
DeAndre adapted like only DeAndre can.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Murray falling down through it 40-plus yards. Incredible athlete.
Did you see that when D-Hop went up, the other three defensive backs around him, they had other athletic wear stuff on. Like one had Adidas, one had Nike on their gloves.
Yeah.
And then the Jordan gloves just went up and caught the I think it was Adidas, Nike, and Under Armour.
Wow.
And just the Jordan gloves in between all of them catching the football. I thought that was a really funny kind of.
Yeah, if that's not an advertisement, what is it?
Yeah, I mean they're part of Nike, but still, it's funny to watch.
Who's your third then? If Kyler's number 2.
I'm dropping Aaron Rodgers to 4, so he doesn't get talked about this week. I'm moving Pat Mahomes up.
Okay, so Patty is now the talks for you.
He is just so incredible. I think he definitely deserves a nod to be like, hey, we see you.
Yeah.
But the amount of weapons you have around you kind of
make it unfair.
When you're the MVP, you're the greatest, you're regarded as the greatest player that year, kind of almost. But it just doesn't feel like Pat Mahomes would be at the same level of production if it wasn't for these incredible athletic plays that some of his people are making. I think he's a great distributor of football, don't get me wrong.
No.
The best quarterback in this league by far, but I just don't think that he should get another nod because he's already had his time. But watching him against the Raiders, I didn't want to put him in my top 3 at the start of this season, but he's just too incredible not to get that nod. He was in that Raiders game. He just passed a wide open Travis Kelce in the end zone for the final touchdown to win the game. And it's just how do you guys even let that happen?
No. I mean that's the Chiefs' offense. I can't even blame a single defense when they're facing that many weapons.
Yeah.
But a good point to his year that is still exceptional, still a Patrick Mahomes year, but not MVP. The dropped interceptions would definitely blemish his chances of winning that a lot more if those defenders held on to him.
I'm with you.
But
who you got at 3?
3 for me, it's tough to say. That's where it becomes a bit more of a race. So my dark horse is still the beautiful 22 Derrick Henry. I still think he has a chance. El Tractorcito still has a chance for 2,000 yards. If he breaks 2,000 yards, then he could get it.
I mean, I think if this last quarter of the season is just incredible, and it's just game after game after game where he's breaking 150 yards, 200 yards every game, I could see it, especially if they're in the fourth quarter when he starts to really get hot, because he does get hot normally in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And if he continues that path, I think he definitely has a dark horse shot at it. I think he could definitely get some votes for MVP. We'll just have to kind of wait and see on that.
Well, just a quick update on him, too, just so people don't think I'm absolutely crazy, is he is already over 1,000 yards. Mm-hmm. If the Titans do want to stay the division leader and maybe get a first week bye, then they are going to have to perform well to end the season.
Yeah.
They lost the luxury of being the Steelers, who are an undefeated team, and fell hard, losing 3 games nearly in a row, if not in a row. It was a rough month, but this could be a chance to turn it all around.
I think this is definitely their time too, and I feel like they got to, if they want to get to the promised land, they're going to have to, and I think that offense goes as Derrick Henry goes. So, we'll see. With Taylor Lewan being out, I don't know if his chances are great. But we'll definitely see. I'm interested to see where Derrick Henry takes the season.
He's over 100 yards average on game and nearly 5 yards per carry. So if we have to improve that, then there's a good chance he could get 1,000 more yards to end the season.
Nice.
5 or 6 more games to play.
He is incredible. Well, let's go to legit versus shit. Who is good? Who's not? Who's in the trophy case? Who's in the potty?
Yeah. Who's exposed and who is someone you actually want on your roster?
Absolutely.
I'm going to be honest. This week is mainly you took charge, found a lot of players, so I'm going to let you take the handle and start us out.
I'm going to stand at the helm. First off, I got Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I think he's really turned around since John Gruden's been there. John Gruden, obviously a known quarterback guru. Last game he played against the Chiefs, played well. He's played against the Chiefs really well. He had 275 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Wow. The last interception was kind of in the last 30 seconds, so I don't count that as a mistake. I really just kind of count that as like a throwing it up for grabs.
Yeah, you have to make plays against the Chiefs.
Absolutely. And obviously Josh Jacobs is a huge part of that offense. Josh Jacobs didn't have over like 70 yards that game.
Wow.
So it's not like he was relying on the running game that whole game. It just really seemed like Derek Carr is kind of coming back into his own. Maybe I think he re-entered the top 10 for me.
He had 74% completion rating last week and over 30 attempts. That is admirable. That is good.
I think, I'm not going to put him nowhere near Pat Mahomes, obviously. I'm not going to put him in my MVP talks, but I'm definitely going to give him a legit this week.
You think he's legit? 19 touchdowns. He's not thrown 20 this year.
Not yet, but he's got time.
Yeah. Do you know how many interceptions that he has?
I don't. I haven't looked at his season statistics.
3. I've got him pulled up just because I know you had a lot of exciting quarterbacks to talk about. Yeah, he's only had 3, so not many touchdowns, not many picks. You think he's legit?
I think he's legit. I think that what he does really well. When they need him to be a game manager, he game manages. When they need him to make plays, he makes some plays. Kind of similar to a Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
I'm starting to put them more on the same level where I thought Ryan Tannehill kind of pulled away for a while. But they're kind of nearing again, where they're kind of balanced out. Not that it's bringing down Tannehill. I just think Derek Carr has brought his play up to Tannehill again.
Yeah, I'll respect that, and I'm not afraid to say I think Tannehill has dropped a small bit in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
That's allowed Derek
Absolutely
to catch up. I will back you up on this one. I think Derek might be legit. 70% completion over the season is something not many quarterbacks can do.
Not many quarterbacks will do, for sure. Let's go talk about P.J. Walker for a second.
What a strange situation P.J. Walker has stumbled into.
For people who don't know who P.J. Walker is, he is the former, I think he was the MVP of the XFL, or the MVP in name. Really a stud. He played for the Houston Roughnecks. I think they went undefeated. They were just a stud team. But he had 2 red zone interceptions, which sounds bad. But I think this is his first NFL start. This is his first time at the big game. So, I'm not gonna give him a bunch of shade for that. But 258 yards, 1 touchdown. Him and DJ Moore just clicked the entire game. Robbie Anderson has been clicking too as well. He just felt a little bit more explosive over the top than what's their quarterback? Teddy. They felt a little bit more explosive with him at the helm. Maybe a little less consistent, a little less accurate, but they definitely felt like they were more of a contender with Walker at the helm. And I like Walker's story a lot. He was I think he didn't get drafted in the NFL draft, but he did go to an XFL team, and he played really well there. And I think he would continue to play really well in the XFL, if not in the NFL.
Well, that's a lot to say about a guy that's sort of new on the scene. So where do you land with old PJ?
I'm gonna have to put him in the legit category as a good backup for now.
Yeah,
that's what he is. He's a backup at this point.
So you're not going to diminish what he's done, but you're not ready to say give him the keys.
No, I think if you need someone like even if like the Saints decide in a few years, they have whoever at the helm and they want PJ Walker to back it up. He's got the athleticism, and he can also play that kind of Taysom Hill spot where he's kind of moving around the field.
That's a good way to use him, honestly. I didn't even think about that.
Wow. Yeah, but I'm definitely going to go legit as a backup. We will venture to see if he will become a starter eventually, but I think he has a fair shot at it one day.
You don't think this is the last he's going to see the NFL?
Absolutely not. Another good place for him to back up also is the Ravens. If Lamar falls, I think they have RG3 behind him right now.
Robert Griffin III is their second string quarterback.
It's true, but Robert's getting old.
Yeah.
And his knee isn't really the same as it used to be. So if they want an athletic quarterback to back up Lamar, PJ Walker is a stud at running the ball and passing it.
If Lamar goes down, without question, though, you have to at least question the idea of getting a backup for RG3 if he is your starter at that point. So
absolutely, yeah, he's a little bit fragile.
Yeah.
What you got on PJ? What you think?
If I hate to be so down on him, but if I had to lay him in either category, I would say shit for now.
Yeah.
The NFL is a cruel, cruel place where you are analyzed. Every play you do is
what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, exactly. What have you done for me lately? And as the NFL discovers what he's done lately, they will understand how to stop it.
Yeah.
And I think he will almost see a replicated Cam Newton situation in the Patriots offense now, where he cannot adapt to a new way to play.
Yeah, those red zone interceptions were bad. I think I saw both of them. I know for sure I saw the second one. There was just no one there. I just think he was a little hot because this is his first big game start. I think he'll kind of cool the nerves a little bit in the future if he has to continue to start. But we'll see where PJ Walker goes.
Yeah.
Let's go next to Tua Tagovailoa, who is by most accounts supposed to be the first overall pick until the hips did lie and they broke.
Worst kind of lie.
Yeah. So he didn't have a good game this week. 11 for 20, 83 yards. Actually benched in the fourth quarter.
That's a bad game.
Yeah. Ryan Fitzpatrick came in and he looked pretty comfortable at the helm. I noticed Tua was kind of holding the ball a long time. I watched some of the highlights for it. It just seemed like he was kind of like sitting there and kind of watching around. And he took a few sacks. I don't know if they just took him out of the game just because they didn't want him to get hurt, or if they were just like, we know we're not going to win this game. But they were in it the whole time. There was a one-score game the entire game. And actually, Ryan Fitzpatrick, he threw an interception at the very end of the game. But he had it was a contested throw that they very much could have they caught. Yeah, it was just kind of in between two guys, and Justin Simmons, that stud safety for the Broncos, came in and made the play, which is like
what studs do.
That's what happens. If you're a stud, you make a play.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick could adapt to any pocket at this point. Journeyman quarterback, unlike most, that has performed well for a lot of teams for a long time.
Yeah.
Tua, though.
I'm going to have to go.
He's not thrown a pick this year. I don't think he has. I think he's clean.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, I like a couple picks. Because that means you take risks.
Yeah.
Tua just doesn't seem like he's got the athleticism to be a Kyler Murray, and he just doesn't have the guts to be a Patrick Mahomes. So not everyone's going to be a Kyler Murray or Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be some sort of a game manager, I'd assume. I'm going to kind of go shit for this week.
Tua is shit this week?
At least what I've seen so far, a lot of people have been hyping him up. A lot of people have been hyping up Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, whatever they're going to say. He's not that yet. He's very much been a game manager. They've been going through the run game. His wide receivers have been making good plays every time I've seen him. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick looked more explosive. So I'm going to go shit with him. I think that they have the better guy on the bench at this moment.
At this moment, I agree completely.
Yeah.
Well said. Tua, in the little time we've seen him, the 4 or 5 games he's been given an opportunity, he has that many touchdowns. It's one thing to have 0 interceptions, but if you only have 6 touchdowns to show for it, it's not a great performance at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. let's go down to a couple of teams we wanted to discuss. First, starting in the NFC North to be specific. Let's go to the Vikings. The Vikings are interesting. Do you have any thoughts on them first, Alex?
Just right off the bat, Justin Jefferson has shown that he is the new number 2 wide receiver in town. You can't be Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen showed that this week.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Justin Jefferson will be a point in that offense for years to come. Dalvin Cook, although shut down, will come back at least 1 or 2 games this year for a Dalvin Cook-like sort
Dalvin
of game.
Cook surprisingly not an incredible game against a team that I think had 378 rushing yards on them. The Cowboys did this week. That was against they allowed that much against the Browns a few weeks ago.
I mean, was Nick Chubb playing, do you know?
Because that's the game he towards ACL.
And then such a tragedy.
And then that was like in the first quarter though. And then Kareem Hunt, I think one of the running backs is called Johnson, and then another one. They just were like, hey, we're all going to eat on you. I think Odell even had a lot of rushing yards too.
Oh, I remember that game now. You are right. Odell just had quite the little carnival of different yards.
Yeah.
I think, to put it sweetly, the Vikings are legit with shit Cousins at the helm.
Yeah, I don't know if Cousins is shit. Because I think Cousins just hasn't really been let loose. It feels like they're kind of like, oh, we're a running team and Cousins is a game manager. But I kind of think Cousins kind of wants to make a few plays every now and then.
I think he can play in the NFL, but when you have those weapons, I expect to see games that compare to Mahomes, to Tom Brady.
Yeah, for sure.
You never hear Kirk Cousins as a threat.
Yeah, I think he gets too much shit, but I don't think he is a top 10 by any means. The Vikings, right now they're third place in the division. Packers 7-3, Bears 5-5, Vikings 4-6, and they're tied with the Lions, who are also 4-6. I don't see the Lions going up any in this column at all. The Bears are on a 4-loss streak right now.
Hate it for the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears aren't going nowheres. So I think the Vikings will at least take second place, if not sneak into a wild card spot. Hard to take down the Packers at 7-3, especially when you're 4-6 past halfway in the season. Almost 3/4 of the way. So I'm gonna have to go in between. I'm not gonna go legit or shit with this team. I just think that they're underperforming on most standards. No, I'm going to go shit.
There you go.
Let's go
you got to go one.
Because, come on, you lost to the Cowboys. You lost to my sorry Cowboys.
You lost to them to tank.
You lost to my ankle-less Cowboys. They have no ankles. They got no offensive line. They got no safeties. Actually, the safeties kind of played well this last game, so I don't know what's happening. But yeah, it's just not. No, you're shit. If you lose to the Cowboys this year, in the year 2020, you're shit.
Okay, we'll keep that standard, too. If anyone loses to the Cowboys for the remainder of the year, immediate shit.
Unless the Chiefs cut Patrick Mahomes and the Cowboys sign him immediately.
That stays true.
Then the Cowboys are still shit.
I heard they were going to talk about shipping Mahomes.
Oh, that makes sense. I wish. All right, last team for legit or shit before we go to our break. We got the Bills with Josh Allen, old lateral Allen at the helm.
Old lateral Allen, old backwards toss Allen.
I think he's kind of made a shut up recently. He shouldn't have lost to the Cardinals. He had a great touchdown for the what we thought was the game winner. And then the Hail Murray happened. I didn't catch any of the Bills this week, but I am fairly certain that they got a win. I just think that the Bills, their defense, with Sean McDermott coaching, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
It's been a little inconsistent. I think that they've had a couple injuries as well, though. So I think if next season, if they come around and they're more healthy, they might be much more of a threat. But I still think that they're a presentable defense this year, as a much better than the Cowboys defense or anything along those lines. But I wouldn't compare them to like a Colts defense. With the offense, I do like Diggs, and I just I don't know. Josh Allen's really, really good this year. And he's really kind of made me shut up about the lateral Allen. I still think that play is hilarious against the Texans in the playoffs. If you don't know, Josh Allen's attempted to throw a lateral behind him for no reason. There was no one there. He just kind of threw the ball out of bounds. I think he did it like twice.
I mean, you have to make plays at the end of the game. Josh Allen tried to.
Yeah, throw the ball down the field, though. That's my thing. If you throw an interception down the field, I can talk to you. If you throw it backwards and it just runs out of bounds, I'm like, I don't know if that was it.
No, definitely disputed in the film room. They talked about that and lingered on that play.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Bills are leading their division, though, and like you said, Josh Allen is having a hell of a year. Nearly 3,000 yards on the season.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs has stepped in and become a very comfortable target consistently every week for Josh Allen, and he's learned. He's actually adapted to the NFL and might be a quarterback to talk about for a while.
Yeah, I think that he has. I think he's definitely come away being more of a Patrick Mahomes-esque quarterback. I think he's kind of like a pseudo Mahomes, if you will.
A little athletic.
Because he can run pretty well.
Yeah. He's got 200-something yards.
He's got a great arm. I think if you had Patrick Mahomes and him line up and just throw the ball down the field, I think he would probably throw a little farther.
I think they've done that at this point, actually. They can test who has the... those two specifically have quite a little argument between them who throws farther.
I think Josh Allen would probably win it. He's more of a stout guy, and I think Patrick Mahomes is a little bit shorter.
We'll look that up during the break. Yeah. I think that is actually a competition they've had. I think the Bills are legit, man. I think this is a division that, other than them, is now shit. You have the Jets, the Patriots, and the Dolphins.
Yeah, the Bills haven't been at the helm for a long time since they won the Super Bowl against the Titans, really.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. You know, y'all put a curse on them, that Music City curse, I guess. But the Cumberland River curse.
The Cumberland curse.
I like that. But I'm gonna go legit too.
Well, yeah.
The Bills, they're not gonna be the Steelers or the Chiefs. But you know, I don't know that they're going to lose this division. I was high on the Dolphins last week, but with Tua T being
benched.
I mean, I think he's supposed to start again this week.
Oh yeah, but that's not a good sign for any quarterback.
I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Dolphins. I think they have great coaching through Brian Flores, but I don't see them. I don't see the Bills losing their grasp on the division right now.
I think even this team will show you to put more respect. I think it might be a team that leads this division for a few years.
Gotcha. Well, that was all for the first half of the podcast. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after a short break. Right. Welcome back, guys. We are back from the break. Bladders are emptied. We're ready to go right back into this thing. We're going to talk a little bit about the XFL starting first. A little bit. I'm kind of considering them the new minor league for the NFL at this point. It doesn't seem like they're gone. Recently, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, many of you know, has him and several investors have taken hold of the defunct XFL that was before.
I saw that.
Yeah. So they're back now. There's new ownership. Hopefully all the same teams stay. I really love the logos and the names of all the old teams. They had a lot of star players and a lot of interesting ideas. They had the Sky Judge.
Yeah.
The referee who would monitor the field from the sky, and he had an Xbox One controller.
Just doing it.
And would just was working on the reviews for the plays. As well, I think that they produced a lot of talent for the NFL.
Yeah.
We were talking about PJ Walker earlier, who came from the Houston Roughnecks. He's really shown himself to kind of be a little bit of a player now.
Yeah.
And I think that we might see more kind of people who had unrealized talent in college see the XFL as their new starting ground. But the XFL is supposed to be back spring of 2022.
Yeah.
So I think they skipped next year and they're gonna go on to that. Hopefully that isn't a ruse. Hopefully we do get our XFL, our NFL minor league. I could even see in the future for these leagues to be merging. in some way.
Yeah,
I feel like the NFL really likes being the only dogs on the block. But I could definitely see them becoming a unified thing where the NFL takes maybe majority ownership of the XFL.
Yeah.
And just kind of runs them from the shadows. What are your thoughts, though?
I think it's good that they aren't starting until 2022 because it gives them time to explore those options.
Yeah.
It's not just an untapped potential for players. They had a lot of interesting rules that made me watch them because it was a more fun experience for players and unique play calls, unique situations. I forget what it was specifically, but do you remember there was a fourth down opportunity?
I was literally going to bring that up.
What is that?
I think it was like if you want, instead of an onside kick or just kicking the football, you could do a 4th and 15.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That started from like your own side of the field, I believe.
Yeah.
And if you got the 4th and 15, that's where your drive starts, wherever you got the ball.
Yeah.
But I think I think they are revolutionizing ideas, and I like competition in a sport that has long just been dominated by college football and NFL football. And NFL football is dominated for the most part of those two.
Yeah.
And I like that college players have the opportunity. It's not just, well, I had a good college, career and I'm done. People like Tebow, who didn't really have a shot outside the NFL, could have shots in the XFL, maybe prove themselves a little bit more, hone their skills with some people on the professional level still, and then be able to maybe make it back to the NFL one day. I think that this is even like a Ryan Leaf. I think the XFL could have served him well.
Well, players need coaches too, and those coaches will get positions in the XFL, get noticed. It's just more football, which I'm never opposed to. And it's talented football with a lot of money into it already. So I think we'll see it in 2022, not a little later.
It's definitely interesting football to watch. I recall watching a few of the Roughnecks games, and it was interesting games. We got the cat hot mic on.
Yeah, we got cat hot mic.
But the XFL was super interesting and fun to watch. They had new ideas, better talent than I thought they would. And like at first, I kind of waited. I think we got cat keep coming.
A quick timeout.
Yeah.
A cat time.
All right, guys, we are back from the little cat timeout. Had an issue with the little bit of meowing. Back to what I was saying. At first, I thought the XFL was kind of didn't feel like it was going to have a lot of talent. Felt like a little, and that's why some of the reasons why I didn't watch it at the beginning. But then kind of towards the halfway mark, where they kind of ended their season, unfortunately, due to COVID and all the stuff surrounding that. It really started to seem like they could be a talent factory for the NFL.
Yeah, and COVID does play a part in, of course, it being pushed back. But I think it's going to be what helps it afterwards with the practice squads of the NFL needing to be deeper than ever. IR, COVID list. There's a lot of players that even chose not to play out of fear of getting it or just taking a step back, saying this wasn't the year for it.
Yeah, and players especially like Darren Waller, who was a tight end for the Raiders now, previously was on the practice squad for the Panthers.
Yeah, he's a name known now.
Yeah, he is a household name now. He could have had that chance sooner if it wasn't. Cat's getting sprayed for meowing.
Yeah.
He could have had that chance sooner if the XFL was in existence at the time when he needed it to be.
Cameras on him.
He could have had cameras on him. Seeing people play, even if it's against inferior talent, you're still seeing them play. It's you draft people out of college, even though that you see them playing against college teams. You know that they are going to be some sort of level of that kind of talent in the pros as well.
Yeah, well said. It'll be something that the NFL could choose to get in on.
Yeah.
And really sort of provide an income that's needed to stimulate not just interest, because you need money to have interest.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also a way for teams to use them as a minor league successfully.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Let's move on to our conspiracy corner. It's time to put on the figurative tinfoil hats. Since Dallas has a lot more to say this week on conspiracy, I'm going to do my little quickies real quick. For one, I think the Ravens aren't going to make the playoffs this year.
Wow. Just not even make it?
I think they could get the second extra wild card spot.
But that's as much as you're giving them.
I think the Browns might take the wild card this year.
Whew.
I think the Browns have an easier schedule down the stretch.
Love that you said that.
I don't know that the Browns are going to be able to pull this one through. The Ravens are going to be able to pull this one through. Like I said earlier, the play calling doesn't look great. I just don't have much faith in them. Any thoughts on that one?
It's not that I believe in the Ravens, it's my disbelief in the Browns.
Okay.
It works into one of my conspiracies, which I will just say, because I do have a lot that could happen this year. The Browns, I don't know if it's a curse, I don't know if it's a fault at ownership, because no matter what.
Oh, wait, do we have competing conspiracies?
We do. It is this, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I think the Browns have built on a burial site or someone put a hex on them, whether it's Johnny Manziel getting drafted, whether it's Baker Mayfield getting figured out. Quarterback seems to be an issue. Play call seems to be an issue. But they have a talented roster. Odell Beckham Jr., Myles Garrett. No matter who they add, they are not going to win that division. Sorry, we just had a rapid fire because the cat came in and yelled.
I think Han could be our new mascot.
Han might have to be shown at least once.
He's a little bit potato shaped.
He's a unit.
Yeah, he's the coach. He's the coach potato.
Maybe you'll see him one day. But just well said. Or just to wrap it up, the Browns, no matter what they do, are bad. I don't know what it is. No matter how many games they win, they're over 500, but I don't see them making the playoffs. It just isn't in this reality.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I'm going to have to doubt you on that one. I think that the Browns take this wild card spot. The Ravens seem like they're on the wrong track. Ever since they lost to the Steelers, it just seems like it's just a curse on them. I don't think they'll pull off this week against the Steelers. I think it's a must-win game for them, but I don't think they got it in them. I don't think they have that dog this year. I think they're kind of resting on their laurels, I don't know if they're going to do it.
Well, it's definitely the team you don't want to have to win against.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. My second one, I'm going to go with a little shot in the dark here. I'm not super confident on this one. But back to the XFL a little bit and back to the Panthers that I'm a little hot on.
Yeah.
PJ Walker is going to be a starter soon in this league.
You think he's taking someone's job?
He was... All right, so let me go back. In the XFL, PJ Walker was an exceedingly incredible talent. It was just... There wasn't really many quarterbacks that competed. I think the DC Defenders quarterback, I don't remember his name, but he did perform at a certain level. Not at PJ Walker. I think PJ Walker might get a trade maybe to another team in need of a quarterback. Maybe even be kind of a transitional quarterback. But I think at some point, PJ Walker is going to be a starter for a team. And I think he might even have a little bit of success. I think PJ Walker isn't going to... This isn't going to be the last time we see PJ Walker for sure. I think that he might have the real chance of showing what he did for the Roughnecks and doing it on the grand scale major league level that is the NFL. I could give him. It just seems like he has that dog in him. He's got, he needs to fine tune the details. But I think if he fine tunes the details, he has the talent to be a stud.
He definitely has the opportunity now.
Yeah,
it's completely up to him what he does with it.
I agree.
Well, does that end your conspiracies?
I think that's me for conspiracies. What do you got? I know you have a bit more to talk about.
So one that's going to ring really true to your heart, and I never wrote down, you don't know it. Mike McCarthy is washed up. Mike McCarthy isn't the guy you want.
Ouch.
I'm sorry, I know it hurts, but
I don't want it to be true.
He might keep his job with the injuries and the year it's been for you guys.
He's got a guaranteed like 12 years to be a Cowboys coach.
But you have so much talent on that team. I know it hasn't been your year with injuries.
Yeah.
But I want to see him at least still put a fight up for him. He's not doing that. He's not winning that locker room over. He's not doing it for me.
I want to disagree with you. I really do. But, like, not like PJ Walker. He just doesn't have that dog. It just doesn't. I just don't know that he has that in him to be that, to be a top coach again. He won one Super Bowl with the Packers, but I just don't know. I would like to see him again one more season after getting to know his new coaching staff, after kind of settling into the role with an off season and hopefully less injuries, more ankles, less injuries this season. But I think give him one more shot. We'll see. I want to see what he does next season, and I'll start to write my my obituary or my success speech.
We'll definitely talk about Mike McCarthy again for sure, but I think it's finally been shown that he doesn't have what it takes, at least with enough structure around him, to keep a team relevant like he did the Packers. I think he had a lot of help in what made the Packers good.
That could be. I don't know. I think we haven't seen enough from him at the Cowboys. I think he definitely lost the locker room at the Packers. And I think that they got out the people when they cut it. They cut a couple players that we picked up in free agency. So I think we kind of got out the rats who were kind of leaking out the information that the players weren't happy. And I see the Cowboys being able to go farther in the future. But I don't know. Mike McCarthy, I'm holding out on him. I'm not gonna swing either way.
Well, the fun thing is one of us is right.
Yeah.
So
that is true.
We'll touch base on this, come back to it. The one other one that I have is Lamar's been exposed.
Wow.
The NFL knows how to handle him.
Someone had to say it.
And it doesn't. Well, I don't think I'm the first one to say it. I don't know if that's a hot take.
I think a lot of people, especially in like major media, have been like, I don't want to say it just yet.
Yeah.
But go ahead. What you got?
Well, the Titans game was two teams that were in very similar positions, and Tannehill has experience on them. Both players made bad choices, but both quarterbacks had the chance to put that game away.
Yeah.
And it's very unlike the Ravens we saw last year and the Lamar that we had last year to not capitalize at least once on those multiple opportunities. So I just don't think that this is a team that will ever capture what they had in that 2019 season.
I'm not sure either. It just doesn't feel like they have so much talent on that team, from Mark Andrews to Doyle, who recently had that horrible knee injury, to a good offensive line, to Des Bryant is back apparently now, and they have Marquise Brown. Do they have Hollywood Brown too? Let me check.
I know they have Hollywood Brown.
Do they have 3? Yeah.
I know they have Hollywood.
Oh, wait. Hollywood is Marquise Brown.
There we go.
I'm being silly.
So, yeah, they definitely have both.
Yeah, they do have Hollywood and Marquise. Hot take there. No, but for real. Like, they have so much talent on their roster. Snead, Marquise Brown, Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins. Like, they have a running back by committee, and it's two of, really good rushers in the league right now.
I know their defense isn't what it has been, but I don't.
It's not a questionable defense in my opinion. I think it's at least middle of the pack, if not a little bit better defense.
It's a defense that can take you to the playoffs, and I don't know if the problem is necessarily a coaching or hardball issue. I think it might just be the guy you have taking the snaps.
Wow. Yeah, it'd be real unfortunate for the Ravens because they've kind of built this whole scheme around him.
Yeah.
For me, I still feel like Lamar's got it in him. I think he's got that dog in him. I think, our last year's MVP. I feel like he will continue to have some sort of success in the league, but I feel like they have to be more creative with them because, you have to be able to use this talent that we've really never seen before. He doesn't necessarily have the arm of Michael Vick, being able to throw it deep down the field, but I think he's quicker and I think he's more athletic.
He's more athletic.
But we will see where he takes it.
No. My last conspiracy, which I'm going to say every week, and you'll get tired of hearing, is Derrick Henry breaks the record. Over 2,000 yards, back to the game that I think will define Lamar losing the starting job eventually, not this year, not next year. I think he'll go somewhere and be successful. But the Ravens aren't it. Derrick Henry showed why he is it for Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill with a questionable throw that might jeopardize the game. They pull it together.
Yeah.
But Derrick Henry shut down. Still hasn't lost a fumble. Still is productive and stays true to that run up the middle, punch you in the mouth kind of guy he is.
So thus far in the 11 weeks of the NFL season, he's got 1,000 yards, but that's with one bye week. So you're saying in 12 through 17, the rest of the season, I think that's 6 games. I think he's going to pull off another 1,000 because he's at 1,000 right now.
When you look at his production late in the season last year, I want to say from week 15 up to the Baltimore game, including the Baltimore game, he honestly had a very close production to that. As defenses get tired through the year, he just becomes more and more of a threat. And if he faces a team that knows they aren't going to make the postseason, they aren't going to tackle him as hard.
I'm with you. I think Derrick Henry is that dog, and people know that now. They will never question him again. I don't think anyone should question him again if they know what's good for them.
But I think that was a stretch of 5 or 6 games where he had 800 yards. I think the motivation of doing it in the regular season could get him beyond that, or just the need. If we already have defensive figures that have gone down, and I'll get more into the Titans' future of this season and longer a little later. But for Derrick Henry, he's shown it doesn't matter who the offensive line is, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, the coach is, he's going to take the ball and he's going to run it at least the 4 yards he's averaging.
He's actually closer to 1,100 than he is 1,000 now. So he's got about 921 yards left before he hits that 2,000 mark. Not impossible, 6 games.
He's averaging 100 a game.
He has to hit 200 a game, though, if he wants to do it, though.
He's got to kick it in, but he had to start doing that against the Ravens, which he has. He did it last week. I think he continues to do it.
I think if any time of the year he's going to do it, it's going to be now when it's a really close division competing with the Colts. Yeah. So I think we'll see, but I'm definitely interested to see where old Tractor Cito takes.
I'm telling you, write it, put it in the papers. It's happening.
All right, yeah.
That pretty much wraps up my conspiracies. It'll be interesting down the stretch since we disagreed on 2 of them where they'll end. Yeah, especially with your boys being involved.
Yeah, I know. I'm real hurt by the Mike McCarthy one.
We'll see.
Speaking of our boys, let's do a little recap of what we feel like our teams are heading right now. Go ahead and start with your Titans since you already talked trash to my boys.
So Titans, it's not that your boys are trash. Your boys are warriors.
It's okay.
It's Mike McCarthy.
I'm not hurt.
Okay. So the Titans 7-3. There are a few players on both sides I want to touch up on. One, which I'm sure you've all become familiar with, is A.J. Brown. That miraculous touchdown, just refusing to go down. He's a physical guy. When you look at his figure, very close to Derrick Henry.
Which is incredible for a wide receiver.
Yeah, just as fast, but he is, I believe, 6'1", over 200 pounds, 210, so within 25 pounds of Derrick Henry in 2 inches. Having to tackle both, no matter where the ball goes, is not a fun thing for defenses to prepare for.
Yeah.
He was exceptional. I want to give a shout out to Corey Davis. He performed well as the receiving leader this week for either team. But AJ showed up and even through just getting tackle after tackle, made catches. First one he dropped, but he came back strong through the whole game and just continued to be that dog. I think he'll be a top 3 wide receiver in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Johnny Smith, a fast guy that quickly is becoming the athlete we need down the middle.
Yeah, you guys have Johnny Smith, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, and Brian Tannehill, who are all look super athletic and are huge people just in general. I think they're all definitely over 6 foot for sure.
Johnny is, I believe, 6'1", around 200 pounds.
Yeah, which they're just all look stout. And Brian Tannehill a little less so, but he's definitely got the height. Yeah, and the running ability, honestly.
And he's not afraid to take a hit, almost to a fault. The last guy that is just the good note on offense is King Henry.
Absolutely.
I mean, he had to show up and do what he does, and that's put a game away.
The MVP dark horse.
Yeah, he's my dark horse. I'll say it every week, continue to praise shout. Let me see. I had it wrote down just because I was so impressed with him. That guy came in. And he got 133 yards on the ground. He got a touchdown. First half he got shut down pretty hard. But when you run more than the entire other offense that you're going against, you're going to win that game most times.
Nice, yeah. My drawbacks with your team, though, is the defense. What happened?
No, so that's
did y'all hire Mike Nolan or something?
Well, the problem is we haven't hired anyone. One of my negatives for this team is Mike Vrabel not putting his pride away and continuing to be this defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
We were 5-0 for a start. It worked for a time. I don't know if it's not being able to allocate his time to the entire team and specifically the defense. Because he is a defensive mind. I'm not questioning his intelligence. He played defense.
Similarly, I think not to interrupt your point.
No, please.
But Bill Belichick, he's a defensive mind for sure, but he also has a coordinator. Similar to the way also Sean McVay is an offensive mind, but he also has a coordinator below him.
Exactly.
So, he doesn't necessarily need to. I think both of those coaches call defensive and offensive plays respectively, but they don't. But they also have a coordinator to kind of run the day-to-day for them.
It's difficult to create an atmosphere where players feel they are getting all of the attention they should when you just don't have as many people around. Yeah. He should take up the opportunity of having more heads around, more smart people. Because those coordinators, they're there for a reason. They get paid for a reason.
Yeah, and I think you should take some notes from Bill O'Brien as well. Not just Belichick and, Sean McVay, but Bill O'Brien, learn from his story of a tragedy,
Yeah.
Icarus, who flew too high to the sun, his wings melted very quickly. His GM and coach wings, they are evaporated. And his play caller wings. He had 3 wings, I guess.
He had that triple wing and not a one stayed.
That's probably why he couldn't fly. He had 3 wings.
Yeah.
You can't fly with 3 wings.
No, you'll just spin in a circle.
Let's use one as a rudder. But go ahead.
The other 2 negatives with our defense is Adoree Jackson yet to take a snap in a regular season game. Desmond King was a huge addition, but Adoree, he's been struggling with an injury that just seems to not go away. I don't think he has dressed for a game for us. And I don't know if you saw, but this week we lost Jayon Brown to a horrible elbow injury.
I did not.
He was hit, I believe, from it just directly to it. No ill intent. It happens in football, but it was fractured and dislocated. It was a rough one to watch.
Yeah, I took some notes on Dak Prescott's ankle, apparently.
Yeah, no, it was a very similar, unfortunate.
Yeah, I was flipping between this one and the my boy PJ Walker. I'm not even kidding. I had to watch my boy PJ.
Yeah, no, I believe it. It's always fun to watch. You can take some L. I was watching him a little. Just a new quarterback.
Yeah. I think the Titans defense shows up in some key moments, especially when they were playing the Ravens last week.
Yeah.
But also, where's the pass rush?
Well, that is a problem. So, pass rush, I think a huge part of it is the lack of identity. We have so many key components of this defense back. Sean Evans, Jeffrey Simmons, even new additions, Jadeveon Clowney,
Mm-hmm.
old faces, Kevin Byard, Malcolm Butler, who has him. He's impressed me this year. I was not a believer last year, but he has played very sound.
Yeah.
Not a lot disappeared except defensive coordinator. And if you look at us statistically, defense, take away the record, and you told me this defense was the better record at this point, I would be shocked.
Because it confuses me because you guys do have dogs. Maybe it's just a technique and a coaching issue.
That's my wonder and concern and why I'm so hard on Vrabel. I love nearly every starter defensively, a young, talented roster.
Yeah, it's super talented on especially both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Especially offense, but defense. You can't act like they don't have some dogs in between in the trenches and the in the secondary as well.
Yeah. To talk back on Lamar being exposed, it's not that I think it's easy. I just think NFL teams can do it.
Right.
And the Titans have now twice shown that. He was not that much of a threat. It wasn't a dropped pass scenario. I know there were a few of those that were frustrating to watch if you are a Ravens fan. But, I mean, this defense is just able to contain a running quarterback. They're able to stop a running back. They're able to stop a wide receiver on the outside with dangerous safeties. I like them as a triple threat nearly every position.
I'm with you. Do you have any other thoughts on your Titans?
Other than that, Isaiah Wilson is a disappointment. Even with two left tackles being injured, we don't move a single right tackle over there.
He didn't show up for the start, really.
Unfortunately, he was, I believe, unfortunately, a DUI incident early in the season, perhaps in the preseason, week 1 or before even all that. And
that's unfortunate.
Broke some COVID protocol, but not making smart decisions for a first-round pick. Dressed last week, but even facing another injury to our left tackle, didn't choose to play him. He was just an active man dressed.
Weird.
Yeah, so I just wanted to touch base on that.
Especially for a first-round pick. You'd expect him to get a start in that position.
And big shout-out to our special teams. Colts game, blocked punt for a touchdown, and a 13-yarder. Trevor Daniel, big shout-out to him. This week, though, Trevor Daniel, 46.5-yard average punt on 2. Pretty fantastic. Steven Gostkowski hit all of his kicks, 3 for 3, and an extra point or 10 points for us.
He hit the hat trick. I didn't know you could do it.
Yeah, that's really about it, though. That sums up our Titans, and they'll be fun to watch if they make a postseason appearance.
Okay. Well, let's
hear about the boys. America's team.
Let's dabble down to Dallas, shall we? All right. Let's go to Dallas. Dallas, the city, not the person I'm sitting across of. So, my Cowboys. Mike McCarthy, I think, is the answer for the time being. Give him some time. Let's get him some more reps. He's been out of the game for a year. He's got a whole lot of injuries.
He wasn't out of the game. He was watching every game at home.
Whatever.
But go on.
He was watching the game. He wasn't coaching. It's like when you haven't ridden a bike in a long time, you still kind of remember how to do it, but you're kind of a little wobbly at first,
Yeah.
So I think we got to give Mike McCarthy some more time to figure out how to apply the knowledge he learned in his FBI watch room, watching every single game at the same time. I think we got to give him a little bit more time to evaluate and kind of figure out how he can apply that knowledge. As far as the defense goes, it seemed like it was pretty good. Donovan Wilson, who is an absolute nobody, he's the replacement from last year for Jeff Heath. Jeff Heath, who is one of the best safeties in the league all of a sudden, has had a great season so far. They've actually been playing him in coverage, but he's actually a Raider now, Jeff Heath is. But they've been playing him in coverage. He's been performing well.
Yeah.
Donovan Wilson had a good game, though. I think he had a sack. I think he had, a good forced fumble. I like where this defense is starting to head a little bit. They got some of those talkers out of there. We still need to trade Jalen Smith. I will not get off of that wagon. Jalen Smith has to go.
Ship him.
He's a liability in coverage, and he gets confused on run plays.
Yeah.
What are you good for if you're a linebacker that gets confused on run? Because every time he always follows the tight end on a run play. It's like, why are you doing that? You're engaging the block. Go engage the running back.
Yeah. Here's hoping that you'll have to wait a little bit to get him off the roster until trades become active again. But hopefully that happens.
And in the past game, it just seems like he's either his leg that he injured in the Senior Bowl in college, or something else. He's just not able to click in coverage like Leighton Vander Esch is. And Leighton Vander Esch is actually the bright spot I want to talk about in the linebacking core. He's actually been starting to show up again. He had some issues at the beginning of the season, broke his collarbone, I believe, in week 1. He's back now, and he's the real deal again. I think Jalen Smith, you can't see all of his mistakes when he's not the one trying to babble out all the play calls and stuff. When it's actually Leighton Vander Esch at the home, at least. And I think Sean Lee deserves a few more looks, because he's not that bad. Honestly, no. I think he's way better in coverage than Jalen Smith. Maybe a little less athletic at this point and at the level he is in his career. But if he ended up stepping down after the season and decided to become some sort of defensive advisor or coach, I'd be totally on board with that.
They're important.
I agree. To the secondary, Javon Diggs obviously injured, broken foot. I'm okay with that because Team Tank will be right back next year.
Yep, Team Tank. He's going to be a threat next year. A good pick.
Oh yeah, I think we're going to be losing some cornerbacks in the free agency, but I'm okay if we pick up another good corner in the draft. Defensive line, the defensive ends are starting to show up now. Tackle wise, the tackles need to be improved. Neville Gallimore has been improving. Tristan Hill showed some promise when he's not gator twisting ankles. Going on to the offense side of the ball, did you have any points on our defense or anything you wanted to bring up?
Defensively, I think you might lose some corners. I agree with you there, but there should be some opportunity to make additions that could make you a threat.
I agree.
I think you need to make the most of those opportunities. Don't be afraid to take a plunge in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
That's really about it for your defense.
Yeah. But going on to the offense, let's start with the trenches, the offensive line, really the base of where our team used to be electric.
Yeah.
It was Zach Martin, Lyle Collins, Tyron Smith, and Travis Frederick at the helm. Travis Frederick has been down, The rest of the offensive line is kind of in shambles. Do you have something to say?
Just pro bowlers at every position.
It was,
the names he said.
It was incredible. Even if we could rotate a couple guys out, but as long as Tyron, and then Zach Martin, Travis Frederick were playing, it looked good. I have seen promise from Tyler Biadasz, I think he was a 5th round draft pick, who is our new center. He looks okay. Lyle Collins ate too much food, crashed his car, and then couldn't play for the rest of the season because of a hurt hip, which is really cool. Tyron Smith, we just need to move on from him. We're looking more into that Sewell kid coming out of college. He looks really good. I'm really hopeful for him to be the one that the Cowboys end up picking up if they have that high draft spot. Either that or trading down for more stuff. Wide receiver core, there's really not much to say. They're good. CeeDee Lamb had that electric catch against the Vikings where he looked like he flew in midair. What were you going to say?
Just CeeDee Lamb, he is electric. He was last week. He needs to continue that. I hope something lit for him to be that first-round pick for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's phenomenal. I want to see him continue to do that every week for years.
I think even if, I think he's just got the raw talent and the drive to want to do it.
Yeah.
But honestly, with the quarterback play, we're waiting on Dak. That's kind of where I'm standing with that. Andy Dalton looks okay. I liked Garrett Gilbert a little bit better, and Dalton was able to pull out the win. But I don't know. They kind of seemed like they were playing at similar levels for me. I'm really not noticing a huge difference between Dalton and him. Running back core, honestly, Pollard still looks like a better back than Ezekiel Elliott.
You want him over Zeke?
I get Zeke out of town. He is not the answer. He's
overpaid right now.
He's overpaid. Trade him for a 7th round pick. Scrap it. Whatever. We gotta move on.
You just want to scrap it? 7th rounder.
We need to get rid of him.
Wow.
He's a liability. He's lazy. He's been fatter every year. He has "Feed Me" tattooed on his stomach.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want.
Someone has been.
Someone's been feeding you. You need to tell Mama Zeke to stop feeding you. I'm not trying to look.
We're not fat shaming.
I'm not fat shaming Ezekiel Elliott. I am run shaming him because he cannot run a ball.
And that's fair to do when you get paid to do that thing.
Like $20 million a year too, which is
paid well,
very well, better than Derrick Henry, who is
honest living off of that.
Who is dark horse MVP?
Dark horse MVP paid less than Zeke.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey paid less than Zeke. All these other players paid less than Zeke.
There's a lot of talented runners in the NFL just waiting for a starting job.
And like I said earlier, I'm a fan of the running back by committee position, where you don't pay a whole lot to one running back and you split the bill between a few of them because A, they're kind of a liability for injuries, and B, paying these large contracts when you could have a runner that has similar production and you have three of them, and you could kind of cycle them out so they're not constantly getting hurt. It's a much better system.
Indy showed this week, the last 2 weeks, that all it takes is a hot pair of hands, too.
Absolutely.
A committee, sometimes hot hands are in the backfield.
I'm with you. One more thing I wanted to say on my boys. I think it's finally time to trade one wide receiver for some draft capital. I want to keep CD. I really love Michael Gallup, but it comes down to either Coop or Gallup for trade. My argument on Cooper is Amari Cooper has not performed well on the road, which is super important. I don't understand what the problem is. How do you not perform well on the road? You're a wide receiver. If you get thrown the ball, you catch it. That's it.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to matter which stadium it's in, but it appears to be a problem.
It does. Gallup, I don't think he has the raw route running talent, but he has the dog in him that I think Cooper doesn't really have 100%. Cooper definitely is a competitive person and wants to prove himself, but it just doesn't seem like he's got that dog. I think we trade Cooper. I think you trade Cooper. You still have Cedric Wilson, who's a fourth wide receiver, who forced a fumble last week on a kick return, and also is kind of a stud. I watched him catch several touchdown passes and things that were he just ran right past everyone. And that could be because they're kind of concealing him as the wide receiver 4. But he's an underdog wide receiver 4, and he could be a really good wide receiver 2 on a lot of teams.
You're essentially saying that you have the luxury of dumping off a talented receiver that only 2 or 3 other teams in the NFL have.
Yeah, and Amari Cooper isn't old yet. He hasn't hit 30. I think he's around 27 or 28 if I'm right. Yeah, but I think it's his time. Pick up some defensive talent, pick up some draft picks, trade him to a team that could use a playmaker like him and see what he can do.
Yeah. Just to fact check, Amari Cooper is 26 years old, June 17th, 1994.
That's not an old player at all.
No, and not many injuries.
Yep. Just don't tell him that he doesn't show up on the road, and maybe we can get a first or a second or a lot out of him.
No.
I would take like a whole bounty of picks if that's what I could get. Even if they're later round. I just want more darts to throw at that board and see if a couple land, because Russell Wilson was a 3rd round, Tom Brady was a 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes was a 10th overall pick, but he should have been like just the first pick ever in the NFL.
Yeah. Derrick Henry, a 2nd rounder. Kevin Byard, a 3rd rounder.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter where they are. It's just the talent evaluation. And I think if you have more darts to throw at that board, the talent evaluation, you hit better. Yeah. I think that is all for this week. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I mean, it's been a really fun NFL season so far with just so much exciting football to come, even beyond our Pick 5s.
Absolutely.
I think there's just so many games to watch, so many winning teams, and we'll have a lot more to say next week. We appreciate you checking in this one.
Thank you guys again. We're Coach Potatoes. My name's Jeff.
My name's Dallas.
Have a good one.